Good evening. Hope you're all well. Thank you very much for coming and joining us for this evening. Apparently it's hashtag mallet week. Hashtag week mallet, hashtag mallet, whatever you want to call it. So it's a carver's mallet. That's the hashtag, I believe. Or a mallet is a mallet. I suppose you can use a carpenter's mallet or a carver's mallet. Well, I'm going to do a carver's mallet because hence it's wood turning. It's not really a carpenter's mallet. It's a square, so it's not really wood turning. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. Nick's in tonight helping me out.
Hello.
There she is. Just because I know you lot love to hear her voice. No chopping carrots, unfortunately. So I've got a couple of bits of wood here. Not 100% sure what these are. If you can decipher that, you're a better person than me. I don't know if you can see that. Is it Cheron or AY? I don't know. Whatever that is. Whoever's written that. And then I've got a piece here, which is quite a nice piece.
My
yes,
screen's still going through different things. It's not got you on it.
Is it not?
No.
Oh, that's because you're so far behind.
A lot behind then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what. There you go.
Yeah.
You should be. No? Is it paused? Move.
Oh, just moved it. Right, there you go.
Right. So you should be behind. You should be there now. Right. Picture's not very good for some reason because my internet is really slow. I'm only kicking out about 8.5 megaseconds, so I do apologise. It's a little bit glitchy, but I don't know why. Right. So yeah, I've got this bit here. So I'm going to turn the actual mallet head out of this, and then the handle out of this. I don't know if I'm going to go all the way through and put a wedge in the end, or whether I'm going to put it together. I know the traditional way is to go all the way through and put a wedge in the end, but I might just put it in a nice tight fit and then glue it in. but we'll cross that bridge as we go to that. So while Nick welcomes everybody in, I'll get that mounted between centres ready to round off. So over to you, Nick.
So, good evening, everybody. We've got. Sorry. Where's all the wood butcher?
Wuzzle.
Where's all the wood butcher? Paul Norfolk Hunter, Todd at Glen Cove Woodworks, Frederick Day. Oh, been one of them days.
Put your teeth in, love.
I know. Robert Bortwood, Terry Bartlett. Oh no. That bloke's in.
Which one?
Rob from Kingsborough. Kingsborough Abrasives, Wyvie Woodshed, Graham Brown, Mark Bailey.
Your mate Mark.
Yeah, we're not friends. Martin at Aurora Woodworks.
Hi, Martin.
Pete from Twisted Trees.
Hello, Pete.
Oh my goodness, jumps down, it annoys me. Martin Shepherd. The Novice Turner.
The Novice Turner.
Pete Carless. Door 60. MB Woodturning. Malcolm Douglas. Norman Greenwell. Hayley Wood and Burl.
Divvy. The other way, Steve.
Wayne the Woodturner's on.
Hi, Wayne. Good to see you. How was your live, mate, the other night?
Albert Dawson. JP.
All right, Jamie.
Yeah, be lucky to see that, JP.
What's that?
£5 towards a random gift for Nikki. Tren Creek Woodturner, Cornwall. Simon Leithley. Not sure if that's pronounced right. Dancers with. What was that one? Dancers with Aardvarks. Johnny's Lathe Crafts. Grandpa Jim Woodturner. Archie. Paul Hoyt in the Gravesbury Woodturner. Johnny's Lathe Crafts. I think that is everyone. If it's not, then please put on there your name to say Oi, and I'll give you a shout out. Okay.
Oi.
Because Ian Lee's on as well. The thing was jumping quite a lot, so.
It's because you're using the mouse rather than using the slider on the side. Right, so.
Yes, boss man.
So, first thing I'm going to do is rough this down round, create a tenon on this end, so then that gives me a room to shape, so when we can hollow out whatever size we want for the handle. So let's get this roughed out. So just a 3/4 rough and gouge, want a bit of speed.
That is terrible. Wayne said good thanks, Steve.
Alright, good to see you, mate.
Boys, the boys on.
Always late. Right, so I want this just round. Like so.
Yeah, it's very glitchy.
Yeah, I don't know what I can do about it. It's nothing to do. I can't do nothing about it. So
Need to
it's
have a look at that.
ever since we went with EE, I wish I hadn't gone with them. I wish I stayed with BT now.
Pete said hashtag flowers for Nikki time.
Mhm.
You can't do it about it, right?
Right, so we're round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this straight here, create a tenon on that end so we can hold it on a chuck. So part and tool. Remember, part and tool handle low. So keep the handle low so you're using it as a cutting action, not as a scraping.
Oh, Woodbridge by Collins on as well.
Like column.
You put, oh, you forgot me, lol.
So that's flat now. So now we can create our tenon.
Christina Michael Heseltine's on.
Hi, Christine and Michael.
Not supposed to eat it. You've just had your tea.
Every time I open my mouth, a bit attracts. So I'm going to go for quite a big tenon on this. It's, so we'll see if we've got the right size tenon. Nope, a little bit too big.
Moy said he weren't late, he was missed. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cornish made 1982's on.
Okay. Right, so there's my tenon. So what we're going to do, it's all down my t-shirt now. Do your smock up, Steve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release this, get it clamped into the chuck directly. Then we'll bring the tail stock support back up, just to hold it in place.
Wayne said EE is BT, innit?
It is, but I've had problems ever since I went with EE. So I need to have a chat with them, really, because that was really slow the other day as well. And we lost it nearly completely the other day. So I need to have a chat with them. Right, so I don't want this too big. Because obviously a carving mallet is not a huge. Is there a tape on there?
The Yorkshire Gits on.
Hi, Glyn. Hope you're well. How's Joe?
Lucy Sweet Potato.
Sweet potato. Right, so I don't want this huge. So
Frederick said, could the mystery wood be a cherry spindle?
yeah, it does look a little bit of cherry. Don't it? It's got that sort of pattern in it, and the bit of wood, the bark seemed to be a little bit like it, but we'll see. So that's 100 mm across. That's 4 inches. So I'm going to take it down a little tiny bit.
They're real inches because he measured it.
Real inches. So I'm just going to take that down a little bit more.
Carsten Pedeston's on.
Right, Carsten. I obviously want the bottom slightly smaller than the top.
G-Par is on as well.
Who?
G-Par.
Good evening. Right, so we'll see what we've got there. Alright, so that's down. Alright, so I think I'll leave that at that. So what I'm going to do now is going to start shaping it with a bowl gouge. Now, we're going to lose quite a bit of this. We ain't going to want the whole piece. We only want the whole piece. So from around about there, I'd say, to around about there. We don't want the whole piece. So let's flatten that bottom edge off.
Dance Vardvat said I should have used some of this hard. I should have used some of this hard maple for a mallet. It's a real tool bluntener.
Well, you need a hard wood, don't you? Because if you don't use a hard wood, if you use a piece of, I don't know, ash or sycamore, it's quite soft, so as soon as you hit anything, you're just going to dink it. Right. So let's start shaping the bottom of this.
What if you hit someone using it?
Hit someone.
Mm.
So just going to start shaping the bottom of this. Actually, I'm going to chamfer that a bit better because I think that needs to be a bit more angled than that. Let's move the tool rest
Frederick
down.
said he had fibre installed by Ian. It's worse than ever.
Don't tell me that, Frederick. I was with BT anyway, but the only reason I won't change over to EE is because they offered me a better deal.
You know why?
Yeah. I'm going to get the rough shape with the rough and gouge, I think. Oops, don't do that, Steve. So, let's have a look at that now.
Steve Hale's on.
Right, Steve, how are you? Who's going to Daventry next weekend? Anybody?
Don't all shout at once.
Yeah, but don't forget they get delays.
Mm-hmm.
There's a delay in that.
Oh yeah.
Right, so now we're going to start curving a bit of this in. So we're going to put a pattern line in where we want it, which is there. I'm only going to start to curve this gently because I want to obviously drill my hole before I get too carried away. So we're just
Andy the Valley Woodturner's on.
Hi, Andy. So we're going to start curving this over.
Carsten's put reading the show title. Googled what bank holiday you're celebrating today. None the wiser. I don't suppose it's because World Tuna Day or World Harry Potter Day.
No, it's not bank holiday today. It's bank holiday Monday. But it's bank holiday week. We class as a bank holiday weekend.
Rob put it's used more sandpaper day.
World use more sandpaper. Just to keep Rob happy. Right, so let's bring that round. So I don't want to lose much more on that corner because I want a nice flat surface. Let's just gently bring that round. Right. So what I'm going to do now is drill my hole in there. So clean this stub off on the end here. So clean this stub off here. And then we can drill a hole in there. So, like so. So now we need to decide what size hole we want in there. So the spindle blank I have is 46mm square. So I reckon we want something like a, I don't know, what a decent size tenon or hole in there. So I reckon something like 25mm, 30mm, something like that.
Kingspool, Rob put better deal equals here is a wet piece of string. Good luck. Lucy's with Vodafone. You looked at Vodafone, didn't you?
Yeah, even they got bad reviews. Everybody's got bad reviews. It's a catch-22 situation. You don't know who to go with. So, oops.
Stephen Madden's on.
Hi, Stephen. How are you?
Wivey's going to Daventry on Friday. Robert Bortwood said he's hoping to go Friday.
Oh, it'll be good to see you, boys. Right. So, nice slow drill. Let's drill this. Ooh, not there. We don't want that, do we?
Paul Norfolk Hunter is on.
Right, Paul. Right, turn that down low. Gently wind this.
He put E's supposed to be powered by BT, and that Dance of Aardvark said I think EE is powered by hamsters. It's annoying because you kept on about it for ages, didn't you? And then
Yeah, then when I did change, I'm getting issues. Never mind. It's what it is.
so Todd said, question, do you all have access to internet via cellular over there?
No, it's normally cable. A lot of people have internet by cable.
There's the hamsters.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve. Squeaky, squeaky.
We might like that. Right, so that's in around about 3 inches, 2.5, 3 inches. So that is enough, I think. Like I say, it's only a carving mallet, so it doesn't need to be. You're not going to be smacking the hell out of it. Well, you shouldn't be anyway. Let's put it that way.
Depends who I'm hitting at the time.
Yeah. Alright, so let's just blow that out. Right, so that was a 27mm hole. We'll just double check it. So we know what to turn our other bit to. Like I say, don't want a tight fit because obviously we need to get a bead of glue around it. But we need enough to obviously create a nice secure fit in there. So what I'm going to do now, just going to quickly part that off down there a bit more.
It's doing a mallet, Steve.
And then we can, it's hashtag mallet. Then we can finish that bit off.
Pete just put, I just sanded an elm bowl from 24 grit to 2000 grit to support Rob's grandchildren. Frederick said, BT told me that I must have fibre. They'll force me to have it. They're trying to get rid of telephone exchanges. I'm not impressed with EE at all. And yes, it's BT's sister company.
Yes, sir. strange times at the moment because they want to get rid of normal lines. But I'm waiting for fibre. I want to be on fibre, but they ain't got it around this way yet. Well, they got the cables there, just ain't connected it. Right. So let's get this
There weren't
sanded.
enough houses, were there? But there's supposed to be some more being built, so...
So we'll take this from 120 up to 400.
Brian's on.
Right, Brian.
Mark Shepherd, his internet's really dodgy at the moment. Video keeps stopping and starting.
I think the biggest problem I've got is I've gone to EE, but they've told me to keep the old BT router. So I think that's part of the problem. But extractor needs clean now, I think. Not drawing very well. I'm just going to check that, make sure we've got all the marks out of it. No, it's still got some lines in it. It's a hard bit of wood, let's put it that way. So I think I'm going to do that inertia sand, that'd be easier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little tiny hole around the outside of that hole and just countersink it a little bit so the shaft goes in 2 stages. That may be a little bit more secure then. Just a little tiny ghost line there, can you see that? Let's go down a grit. Ooh.
Charlie Willingham's on.
Hi Charlie, how are you?
Whereas Wood Butcher said he's been with BT since year dot and never had problems. Upgrade to fibre when available, and amazing speed, and we're miles from nowhere.
Yeah, we've been with BT for many years, 15 years, 16 years. And it was just the price. The only thing that stopped me was the price. It was just getting so expensive. But I should be giving them another call tomorrow and having a bit of a moan.
No, you moan never.
Right, let's got rid of that ghost line. So let's just quickly go up through the grits.
I can't repeat that, Rob.
Right, so let's quickly zip through these. Two to go.
John Scarborough's on.
Right, John, how are you?
Yeah, he lost his wood turning mojo, but he's got it back.
Oh, good man. We all get there, mate. We all have those issues.
Kate Kitchen's on.
Hi, Kate, how are you? When's your next store day, Kate? Or your next wood sale or whatever? So last one, 400 grit. Right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put oil on this once it's all done, once it's all glued together, but not until after I've glued it and the glue's gone off. So what I'm going to do is, in the end there, I'm just going to rebate that a little tiny bit. And the reason being is the handle will sink into it and give it a little bit better security. So we go on to that camera. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a rebate in this. So now I'll just sit on that then. I'll just sit on that a little bit better. Let's just clean them burrs off. Right, so now we can part that off. Like I say, I'll oil it once it's all made and glued up. Let's part this off. I think I'll cut through that because I know what's going to happen. That's going to come flying off. That's a bit too big to get my hand around, and I don't want that to come flying off and then dink it. Because wood against wood is good, but wood against metal wood always loses. All right. So let's just quickly get that sanded off. Get rid of that bit. Get a Jacob's chuck that I can get in the jaws. Just quickly sand that down. So because we've got that big gnarly bit on the end there, I'll start that from 80 grit. Dust extraction.
He's always doing it, Todd, rebooting the router, aren't you?
Yep.
Malcolm Douglas is on. He said he's with Sky, not fibre either, because it isn't available here yet. You had a look at them all, didn't you?
Yep. Rang them all, spoke to them all, debated. Then I left it for a while, then I changed my mind again, and then, oh, it's been a nightmare. It took me about 7 months to decide who I was going to go with. So I'll go back with BT if I have to, even though it's the same company. Right, so now let's just quickly go through the grits.
Just keep. Wurzel said just keep telling them that you'll cancel and the price goes down, or you phone the magic number.
Yeah, I will do. I'm not putting up with that because, like I say, they told me nothing had changed, and that was my big key thing when I changed. That I told them that I didn't want nothing to change because I was happy with the service. It was just the price that I was issued with.
Rob said, "Take your time, Steve. This is the best bit."
I'm going to turn the whole handle by just sanding it.
Kate said 21st of June, literally, and just confirmed it today.
Oh, cool beans. Send me some details, Kate, and we'll shout you out. Smells nice, that bit wood, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
This is 320. You hold the right bit, Steve, it always helps. So if anybody's going to Daventry, I know we said about it, but if anybody's going to Daventry next weekend, make sure you pop over and say hello. Myself and Rob will be there. So make sure you come over and say hello. Be good to meet people who I haven't met before, and also be good to see people who I have met before. So
I'm the wood widow that'll be at home.
well, you don't have to be.
Got work.
It's a shame, really, that you can't come. But
Rob planned it like that.
yeah, because you made him eat his veg
Salad.
salad. That's the one. Right, so that's all sanded up now, nice to 400. So nice shape, nice size, not too big. So now what we need to do is need to now get our handle out of this. So let's just measure the depth. I don't want to use that because so I want to measure that. I don't want to change that caliper. 45 mil. That's how deep it needs to be. So let's find the center. Let's get this out. Find the centers of that. Clean my glasses so I can see. Oh, that's better. Right, so let's find the centers of this bit of wood. This mystery bit of wood. I'm going to do all 4 corners because I don't think this is quite square, which is not by the looks of it. So we've got a dot punch, mark the centre,
Harvey Klein's on.
like Harvey. So that's our centres. So we'll put our stub centre back in. So the first thing we're going to do, let's have a look. Put it that way. So the first thing we're going to do is make it round. Oh look, it's still got the Jacob's chuck in there. Let's try again, Steve. Right. So wind up the tailstock. Now this is going to be longer than what I want, but we'll see what it comes up like. Right, so round this off again. So lathe down low before we turn lathe on, making sure we gradually pick up our speed. So around about 1800 RPM. Let's have a look, see if we've got that round.
So
Yep,
Hutchie said
just
he's with Zen,
okay.
and they're good. Good service, tad more, but well worth it. 500 meg for 36 quid.
That's on fibre though, isn't it? We can't get fibre at the moment. Alright, so we've got a few little cracks in that end, so we're going to make that end obsolete, but we'll use that as our clamping. I think we might just about get that in there if I just turn a little bit off of that. So we're using this end as our clamping. Yep, so we use that as our clamping, and then we'll get that clamped up, tailstock back in, and then we'll start creating our shaping our tenon. So it's a very light shoulder there. So not too tight because we don't want to damage the bearings in our headstock. I'll have a swig of my coffee while I'm waiting. Right, zoom that camera out a little bit. Refocus that. Got a cobweb hanging off of that. That's how long I've been in there. Look, no, there's a cobweb on it. Let's move that across a little bit. That's better. Right, so we need to mark out what we want and where we want it. So we've got some cracks here, so we're going to make that obsolete, that bit there, which is there. So we know we've got 45mm going into the handle. So that's there. and that needs to be 27mm. And we've got that little tiny shoulder, which is only, I'm going to try and set the calipers. So that little shoulder's 4mm deep. So we're going to go 4mm back off of that, because that was our total depth. So we're going to go 4mm back off of that, about there. So this bit here is our bit that goes in. This is our, I think we said this bit here is our handle. So that may be a little bit too long, but we can always take it off there. So let's get a pattern line in here. Let's get this down to 27mm.
He's put a Nick's not there, so your pens and salad are safe.
Who said that?
Rob, he reckon I'm a pen magpie.
Oh, mate, wherever I look, there's Clingsmore pens.
Isn't.
Bit more. Bit more. So I know I keep stop, start, but I don't like doing it with my calipers on the wood when I'm turning it. I don't feel safe, so I'd rather stop, start. So remember, I need some. That's perfect. That's a nice tight fit, that is. So don't forget, we want a little bit of room for the glue, because we don't want it really tight, because then that won't hold the glue. The glue will just squeeze out and there won't be no glue in there. So what we need to do now is move this out, take this down. Then what I will also do, I'll also put some rings around it so the glue can sit in the rings.
Brian said 2 fibre cables are going into his house. BT are not removing theirs, and Fibrous installed a new cable from the same pole, albeit a different box at the top of the pole.
Yeah, that's what they do, though, isn't it?
It's glitching. Oh well.
Right, so let's get this. I think you'd have so much trouble with internet. We can put a man on the moon,
Supposedly.
but supposedly, but we can't get reliable internet. So we want a nice tight transition line in there, and the reason being is we don't want a curve on it, because if we do, it's not going to seat properly. So a nice tight line in that corner. So that gives me a nice all the way along there now. So now I need to work out what the width of my recess is, and that is 33.5mm. I made that a nice awkward size, didn't I? Right, so that's a nice tight fit, that is. So I'm just going to take a little bit of a shimmy off of that, just because we want a little bit for glue. So that's it. So now we can create a handle. So we've got our tenon, got our shoulder, so the rest is all handle. So we decide what we want. Obviously that's too big for our handle. So let's start taking a little bit of that away and sort of get some shape. I'm going to leave a little bit of a shoulder here because I want it to sit tight against the bottom of the mallet. That's a nice blunt tool. Bit of sharp one. So I'm going to remove some of this waste. And obviously the handle shape is going to be down to your discretion, really. I think I need to sharpen this. It's not been sharp since I did a demo the other night. So we want some sort of shape to the handle, and the reason being is when you swing it, obviously you just not swing it too hard, but you want to see your hand don't slip up and down it. So definitely, even for my hands, I've got big paws, and even for my hand, that's a little bit too long. So perhaps finish it off about here somewhere. We'll start getting. So I'm just going to sharpen this gouge up because that's a bit blunt. Rob will be clapping his hands in the background now. Do both
Why?
ends. Well, I'm using more abrasive. So if anybody wants to have a go at mallet for hashtag mallet, then send me over the pictures. What's the Wednesday before the 12th? Is the 12th for Friday?
No, 16th. But you're not
When's the
here on the
12th?
18th.
When's the 12th?
A Monday.
Oh, that's no good to me. I'm not here on the 18th.
No.
Am I not?
No.
Well, where am I?
What did you just book last night?
That's a Sunday. I'm not doing it on the Sunday. I'm doing it on a
Oh,
Friday night.
the 16th's a Friday, the 12th's a Monday.
Well, we need it for the 16th. I need it for the 16th. But I need the pictures before that.
Wednesday the 14th? You're probably
No, I want to show them on the 12th, which is the Friday. What's the Friday? Sorry.
the 16th.
Right, I want to show them on the 16th. So I need the pictures by the Wednesday at the latest, really.
14th.
Right. So anybody who wants to have a go at this, please send me over your pictures if you want them added to the video. But I need them by the 14th at the latest, because obviously I've got to create the video.
Frederick says that really does look like cherry. Steve Lemons on said I'm full fibre now with BTE. I have no complaint. So Rob has said Klingsport are running an event at the moment. We're looking for new and unique ideas for abrasives. The top prize is 3 days at the German factory. If you have any ideas, please message me. And Todd put abrasive toilet paper.
Nice. Bit of a shit idea.
What you want us to swear?
Yeah, well.
Real Simple Things is on.
Right, Baz. How you doing, mate? So I don't want this too small. I think that's about the right size, to be honest. So what I'm going to do, just going to lift that a touch.
Rob said, Steve, if you're looking for the salad, it's under the napkin. Nicky hid it there.
I don't mind my salad, Rob. I'm a good boy. I eat the salad.
You don't like it very often.
Useless vitamins, I call it.
Rabbit food used to call it.
So the question is, can I round that? And is it secure enough in the chuck that I can turn that end off? Because I know it's going to give me a bit of vibration. But I may be able to do enough to get rid of that and just come through that. So I've not got too much to do. So a little spindle gouge. Oh, she's getting close. What do you reckon? Will it just fall off if I move this tailstock back? No, not quite. I don't want to pull it because it'll tear this grain at the end. Let's just get a knife on it. Just gently nick it. Just like that, so. Right, so we can sand that now. Nice little handle. Just got to hope this fits now. Handle, fork handle. Just going to double check all my measurements to make sure it fits. So we've got a little bit of movement there, which is going to allow for glue. This is the main tenon inside. That is a little bit tight, so I might just take a little shiver off of that. And then I can also put a few rings in that just to... So just a little shiver off of that. Double check that now. Yeah, that's better. Better. A few little rings in there just to take the glue.
That's a good idea, Hayley. You should makes a great scratching board for filing the dog's nails. They scratch it to get the treat underneath. I wonder if we do that with the rabbits.
What's that for?
The Klingspor abrasives.
What are you going to put underneath it? Another rabbit?
Their bowl. They can throw it around then.
Oh man, you little sods. Right, so let's quickly sand this up.
I was kicking the side of the hutch last night.
Trying to break free.
Living
Freedom! Obviously, we don't want to sand our tenon. Let's get rid of that end, make that nice and rounded. So we're going to take this up to 400. Again, once it's all dried and glued up, I will oil the whole thing. You don't want wax on it really.
Matthew
Not
Lawrence is on. Michael McEwen's on.
Hi guys, how you both doing? Hope you're both well.
So Matthew's got a question. When using the live edge boards for breakfast bars, what moisture reading should be an acceptable level?
Before you seal it, I would want no more than about 12 to 15%. Because if you've got moisture in it and you seal it, it may make your final finish go white. But that's my opinion. All right, 320. Final one, 400. So now we've got a part off in there. Get rid of that, we don't need that. So we're going to part that off now. So we'll just double check our depth. Make sure we got it long enough. Yep. We could. Right, so I'm going to take a little bit of this. Just double check that because I don't want it right to the end because the glue's going to force down the end. That's right to the, oh no, it's that one there. So that gives me about 2.5 mil at the end. I don't want it to be right because the glue's going to force down the end. And it's going to cause an airlock and not let it flow in if we're not careful. Alright, so I'm just going to nip that nub off there with a knife. Get rid of that furry bit. Now the moment of truth. Ooh, look at that. That's about, I've got about half a mil gap on that. That's plenty for glue. Right, so let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get this bit out of the lathe.
Rob said that's a high quality German abrasive belt you're sharpening that tool with.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my board. We'll get some glue. I'm going to show you how I glue up because I always wetten my wood.
When you would.
I'm wetting my wood because what happens when you wet the wood, the grain expands and opens the grain up. So as it dries off, it sucks the glue into the grain. So I want some water, really.
Nick, go get some water.
Nick, It's a bit dirty, that pot. Actually, so get a clean one from underneath there. One of those little ones. No. Yeah, one of those. Thank you. Yeah, so what happens is when you wet it, the wood will expand and open the grain. And then as it dries, it will draw the wood. It will draw the wood, draw the glue into the grain as it dries. So it gives you a much stronger finish. I'm not here the 16th, guys, so I can't show the video on the 16th. Oh, I am here on the 16th. So, oh right, okay, yeah, I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with it. Right, so I need a brush, obviously, to wet my wood. And then we'll use a brush to put the glue on. So I'm using, this is Type Bond 3, I think it is now. That's called Type Bond 3. So I'm going to wet this one first. And you can see how it's soaking into the wood. And what that'll do is that will expand the wood and open up the pores. So now we're going to do the same on the inside of there. And the only disadvantage is if that's a piece that's like we've got this bit here, this is going to swell a little bit. But you just get a bit of hand sandpaper and just put a little bit of hand sandpaper on it just to finish it off before you oil it. So we're going to get rid of any excess water.
But it can't be abrasive. It can't be Klingspor sandpaper
What's that?
that you use.
Yeah. No, it has to be Klingspor.
No, it can't be.
It has to be.
No, it can't be.
It has to be. Because everybody needs to get it from the website. Ugh, it's a bit sticky. It's been used for a while.
They're saying the pictures to be in by the 12th, and Rob said, and with Steve's internet, he needs to start uploading the 14th to get it in by the 16th.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. So the 12th is a Monday, so as long as the picture's to me by the Monday, yeah, that makes sense. Right. So, nice generous coating because we want it all in those little grooves.
Norman's asked if your email's changed. Nope.
Nope, should have done.
But as he ain't told me.
Off there. So now, we've got our first key coat on. We'll put a bit more on to fill all the gaps. And that should push up and squeeze out the top. Like that. So that means all the excess is out there now. That was a bit too much on there, Steve. Got a bit carried away with that. So what I need to do now is get a clamp so I can clamp that up. I should have a big clamp paint on the
Got one in
bench.
my pocket. Just a minute.
What, clamp? Don't you get this in your pocket?
You normally ask me.
So got a nice sized clamp here. So what I'm going to do,
Pete said, "Don't break anything, Steve. I'm just going in the house. Pick it up there."
so just clamp that down, and we want pressure pushing that down nice and tight. And you can see with doing that little chamfer on the inside, it gives you a nice tight joint all the way around there. Gives you a nice tight joint all the way around that edge. So, like I say, give that a nice clamp up, making sure it's dead straight pressure. Like so, push on there, and any excess you have squeeze out, just wipe it off. Like I say, you can sand it off afterwards, but it's easier to wipe it off before it dries. So we're going to leave that. That will take around about 4 hours to dry. But because I wet the wood, it's going to take a little bit longer. Because obviously the moisture needs to evaporate outwards because it's internal. If there was a hole in the end, that would dry quicker.
Was
But because
the wood moist?
the wood was moist.
Some people hate that word. I think that's funny.
I like moist. It's my favourite word. Right. Yeah. So going to leave that to dry overnight. And that's not a crack, that's just that's a mark in the wood. I thought it was a crack, but it's not, it's a bit of mark. So like I say, we just get a bit of sandpaper on there. Once it's dry, and just gently clean that edge up. And then we can give it a bit of an oil. But it won't take a lot to clean up. But other than that, there is my #mallet.